Hi, my name is Monica. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Uh,
How did you originally become attached to this project?
about 7 years ago, I met Richard Montañez and his wife, Judy Montañez. They came to a meeting with me in my production office, and I just said, "Tell me your story." And as they started telling me their story, and Richard started articulating how he started as a janitor working for a factory for Frito-Lay in Rancho Cucamonga, and had this idea to help save jobs at the factory, to have a spicy product that he could market to his community in Southern California, and then being given the opportunity to do that. And that ultimately led to the success of what we now know as Flamin' Hot. That story, not only just the creation and the success of Flamin' Hot, but also him becoming one of the top executives for Frito-Lay. That blew me away, to go from janitor to corporate executive. How did you do that? So at the end of that meeting, I told him that I would get his movie made. I just gave him my word. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was so motivated and inspired by his story. I just had to share it with others.
I think it's amazing. I live in Rancho Cucamonga or nearby, and I've driven by the Frito-Lay factory. And after watching the film, I'm just moved and so emotional about the people that are in there and people who have dreams and goals. And it's so inspiring, this film. What were some of your reactions when you actually started working on set and seeing how the story was unfolding?
Making this movie was a joy. We shot it in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We had an incredible crew. We had an incredible cast. And, every day, it took so long to get the movie made. As I mentioned, I've been working on it for almost 7 years, and there were certain days I didn't know if it was going to happen. So to be there on set and to be there with Eva Longoria, our director, there were just days I just would pinch myself, like, wow, this is happening. We're making this movie. I can't believe we got it done. So it was really a sense of deep gratitude and a whole lot of joy.
What were the key elements for you that were really important that you had to get right?
The key elements were, getting the essence of his story right. That was critical. When you're making a true story, for me, it's a movie, but for the subject, it's their life. And at the end of the day, this movie is how people are going to see their life for eternity. So, my goal is to get it right. Now, getting it right does not mean telling every detail. Getting it right means, understanding the essence of their journey and making sure that that is correct. And that was a process that took years to get right, from working on the script and having multiple writers work on the script and work consulting with Richard and Judy and getting notes from the studio. And it just was a process. It was a real process. But I'm glad that we went through the process, because the movie is so much better because of it.
And there's a couple scenes where certain things are told through, Richard's perspective and just how he tells it versus how
Yeah.
other people tell it, which is amazing storytelling because it's so human and it's so honest. And I really love that. You talk a lot about diversity and equity and its importance in Hollywood. When you were making this film, did you feel like, wow, this is really happening? I'm building this space where, that's where we're moving towards in the industry.
No, I wouldn't say that I necessarily thought a lot about that. I just thought about, hey, I love this story. I'm here to get this movie made. As a part of me connecting to the story, it was really cool that I could be a Black man and make a story that could be an advocate for the Latino community. That I could be an advocate for the Latino community, and that the movie could have advocacy for the community. That was great. And I think that the success of Flamin' Hot and just the way that the movie is being positioned in the marketplace then does have a lot of impact as it relates to the DEI work that I'm passionate about. But my initial motivation wasn't that work. It was just loving this story and wanting to get this story told.
My last question for you is, when audiences sit down to watch this film, what do you hope that they take away with them?
I hope that they take away, so many things. One, all things are possible to those who believe. Two, have a heart of service, because service leads to success. Three, love wins. At the end of the day, Richard wouldn't be who he was without the love of Judy, his partner for life. And that was really powerful. The other thing is teamwork. This wasn't what Richard didn't do this all on his own. There was a team that came together to help execute this vision. So there are so many things I want people to take away. But I would say probably the greatest thing is hope. I want people to see this film and say, I can do what Richard did. I can do it in their own way, but yes, I can make a contribution. I can serve my community. I can serve my coworkers. I can become a better colleague. All those things that Richard did are things that any person watching the film can then incorporate into their life. And I hope they take that away. I mean, sometimes in Hollywood, Hollywood will make, major motion pictures of superheroes and spend hundreds of millions of dollars to do that. And that's okay. I love those movies too. But they're make believe. Richard isn't. His story is not. And so my hope is that people take away that they can do it too, whatever, their dream may be.
Well, you made a super inspiring film. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. It's good to meet you.